Well,
Dayirai.
welcome to the show,
Welcome
Dayirai.
to Black Authors Matter TV. Dayirai. So is it Dayirai? Okay, where's the accent?
Okay, so the actual pronunciation of my name is Dayirai. So the D sound is a quiet, a soft D. It's a Shona name originating in Zimbabwe. So
Okay.
Dayirai, yes.
Okay. All right. Dayirai.
Mhm.
Now, does it have a meaning? Because I know a lot of names have meanings.
Oh goodness. I always say as a caveat that, it somehow gets lost in translation. However, a very loose translation would be God's answer.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes you
wow.
definitely
I mean,
not
you
ordinary.
have to live just right.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a name. Trying to live up to that name has to be difficult.
Yes.
Well,
So,
I think it kind of fits your book though, because the name of your book is what? Living Life Authentically. Did I say it correctly?
Living my life authentically.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
and you're coming to us through BK Royston Publishing, and they are a friend of the show. So we periodically have their authors that are published under their umbrella on the show.
Thank you.
So how long have you been in the States?
Actually, I'm not in the States. I am in Canada.
Oh wow, which part?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh wow,
Okay.
nice.
Okay, so you live in Canada?
I live in Canada.
Okay.
I did connect with Dr. Royston and was able to work with her to get published.
Okay. Now, do you have a copy of your book with you?
I do.
Okay, living
Living my
my
life.
life, my life authentically. So, is your book a testament to your life, or are you telling people how they can live their lives authentically?
Oh my goodness, I don't tell people what to do. I am a clinical social worker by profession, so it's very drawn in me that we do not tell people what to do. People have to have their own agency. So the best way I could speak to this is I have a 22-year-old son who just happened to become an adult during COVID lockdown. So went off to school during that time, and there wasn't that whole shepherding that we normally do when the world is all right. So what happened was there was a time he called and he's like, Mom, can you please write something down for me about how to keep the house clean? I'm struggling to keep the house clean. So between going to school and working and now being an adult and being out by himself for the first time, despite having been brought up in an environment where he was shown and taught and encouraged and given these skills, somehow being out on his own for the first time just happened to be a little bit more overwhelming. So talking to him and working with him through this, and as a mental health therapist, which is what I do, it was just something that then came to me about our children when they're living home around about that age group. And we're setting them free. Go to school, go do all these things, go leave. The government tells you that you're 18 and you're an adult now, so you can go and live life as an adult. And what skills do they have? Does it help to have something that is written down, perhaps that just walks them through a full day? When I wake up and check in with myself on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being feeling good, where am I at? Because if I say I'm at a 3, already I'm waking up emotionally compromised versus if I said I was a 7 or an 8. You know, one is the weight of the world on your shoulders, the other is feeling like you're on top of the world. So what do you do to ground yourself? How do you prepare yourself? And as you're preparing yourself emotionally and mentally, what are you also doing around your environment to help you, you know, feel a little bit more in control? So this is more just step by step. Get up, brush your teeth. What happens if you just wipe the, sink after you've brushed your teeth? If you take a bath, perhaps you could do this, wipe it down, spray, pick up your clothes, make your bed. What are small little things that we sometimes find difficult to do, especially during lockdown, and for people that were struggling perhaps with depression or some mental health issues more compounded by COVID and the lockdown and the isolation. So how can you have step by step instruction of just things that you could do around the house and that would help you take care of your environment whilst you're also taking care of yourself?
So would you consider your book more of a workbook? I mean, because you provide a lot of tools. So are there practical exercises on how you can use those tools?
Yes, it is actually a workbook. And yes, so it does give you those it's really very practical the way I set it out, because I was at the back of my mind thinking of this child of mine who seemed to have lost all his skills the moment he left home, and needing that reassurance and that support to figure himself out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the real impact on the human impact, not in terms of the disease itself or in terms of people who caught COVID,
Yes.
but the mental effects, the developmental effects. It may be something that people have to look back on 10 years from now or 20 years from now to really understand the impact. Because, for example, for seniors, if people were already, when you're an elderly person, if you don't get out, then your decline can be faster, because we all decline a little bit as we age. But the people who were elderly and locked down for month after month after month, I'm sure there's some people who declined that would not have, because they couldn't interact with other people. So this is something that we're going to be living with for a long time. I don't think we really will understand the impact. People are talking about the impact on children and how they lost 2 years of learning that they'll never get back. If you're a kindergartner and you miss K through 2, then you're starting in 3rd grade. You really are still in kindergarten in terms of your knowledge.
Right, right.
And
So,
socially, just it's
yes, socially.
there's
Wow.
so many aspects. We heard of increased domestic violence because families that were or predisposed already to violence having to be under the same roof
24/7.
down 24/7, the impact on the children, the impact on the adults, it's
Yeah.
you're right that we won't get a full picture of what the impact was until years down the road. Sadly, the more research they get or they do or they conduct will probably lead us into figuring this out a little bit more. But that was a scary time for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, scary all the way around, just as you said, mentally, physically, spiritually.
Yes. So you said you are a social worker by
I am,
profession. So
yes,
do you have a specialty?
goodness. Um, no, I'm in mental health therapy. I have a private practice that I operate, and I provide mental health therapy to individuals, adults, children. Um, and I'm also now in school, so I'm in my first year doctoral studies in public health
Oh, congratulations.
promotion. So
That's a huge step.
Mhm.
it is. It is.
Oh my goodness, I love your smile.
Thank you.
So tell us how your take on as a social worker on people that you're seeing now. What are some of the patterns that you're seeing in terms of what needs people have?
Goodness. The majority of clients that I'm working with right now, certainly through third-party contracts, it's totally completely different reality. They are able-bodied to automatically, an accident happens at work and your life literally changes just like that. So workers' comp in the
Oh,
course of their work, and you have different you have people that are at different stages in terms of acceptance of where they are at, so the current reality. We live in a society where we are literally socialized to go to school. We're talking about JK, so kindergarten, you go to school, you in high school or junior school, you're already having people engaging in conversations about what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you gonna do? So what do you want to be and what are you going to do? So we're socialized to become adults that contribute to society, to work. And they are people that started working as teenagers and have been working for 30, 40 years and do not know anything other than getting up and going to work. And what happens when somebody like that has an accident that literally takes them off work and they don't recover enough to be able to continue working anymore? And now all of a sudden you're having to learn to rely on those around you, ask for help, but most importantly, to understand that work is not the sum total of who you are, even though it had been the sum total of who you were. So literally trying to shift your identity from being so attached to my employer, I gave them 30 years of my life. How come they're not valuing me anymore? This accident was not my my fault, but how could they let me go? How can they treat me like this? I thought, me being loyal meant that I would then be treated the same. So a lot of concern or worry or confusion when it comes to who we are outside of the jobs that we do and how that fits within our whole well-being. I mean, it's very important too, because we also have to go to work so that we can keep a roof over our head and food on the table and, clothes on our back. So if we're living in a world where we all, practically most of us, are living paycheck to paycheck, anything that interrupts that is bound to cause some emotional distress, because we all panic and worry. So you're going to have depressive symptoms, anxiety, quite a lot of emotional distress, because life is not within a locus of control at that point in time. And there is that uncertainty about the future. What will happen next? Why am I not recovering well enough? what's going on, and then navigating a system that is not meant to be navigating a system that is, you know, a system. It's there. And
It kind of puts pressure on us to feel like we have to have it all together by a certain time. We're all living on the same clock. You know, we have to have the perfect job, the perfect spouse. We have to have 2.5 kids, and we have to do this all by a certain time, or else we're a failure.
exactly.
And so then when something like COVID-19 happens, that just kind of knocks that timeline off. Now we think we're behind, and or we've lost that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. And whose timeline are we, like, honestly, I don't understand what that pressure is. And then when you look at our children, you can look at someone in JK, you know, elementary school. Is it the societal narratives that kind of pushes us into that, where
Right.
I don't know, but it's a lot of pressure, and it's hard to get people to take a step back and separate themselves and look at their well-being as, you know, all those domains, my physical well-being, my mental, my vocational, my spiritual, my financial, my relational. And if the vocational is impacted, yes, it's going to impact my finances, and most of the time it will impact everything else too. It just trickles, it's a
Right.
ripple effect. So how do we step back?
You think social media has a big piece to do with that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that starts to determine that clock. Because nobody posts their failures. They only post their wins or what they want you to feel like is a win. So now
Yeah,
you
they
feel like
post
you
other
have
people's
to fail.
failures, which, which I don't. But that's people don't normally post their own failures. They
Right,
talk about other people's failures. And
right.
Mary says she sees the impact now. She's one of our regular viewers, and she says she teaches math to sixth graders who were in lockdown as third graders, and many don't know how to do their operations. They don't, because you learn the foundational things about just about every subject, well, especially English, reading, and math. The foundational information is what you need to go to the next level. And if you don't master that, then you're sort of lost unless you get a tutor or something to help bring you up to speed. And there are not enough tutors to cover all the kids that were in lockdown for
Right.
all, the years of COVID.
I
So,
don't envy teachers. I really
mm,
don't. Uh,
you do. Well, I envy their commitment because they have to have dedication to
yes.
children to be in the profession, especially today. So now we hear a lot about Canadian healthcare, and you're in Canada. So, what does Canada cover disability and workman's comp and things like that with the healthcare system, or are those two functions still based on the company that people work for?
So provincial healthcare takes care of the basic needs. Like I can go to the hospital and get
Okay.
looked after by a doctor. Um, and then you have to have insurance for all the other extra if things start becoming a little bit more special, or else you will wait. So if you should need an MRI, some people are telling you that they're waiting perhaps 6 months, 8 months, a year before they
Mm,
can get in. But if somebody has money to pay up front, they might be able to get in and get the MRI done privately, a lot quicker. So money literally talks everywhere. Um,
everywhere.
so with workers' comp, yes, it's an insurance as well. So they're covered by the insurance based on whatever insurance would have been paid into by the employers for work or towards workers' comp. Um, but again, it ends up being murky depending on if you got injured at work, but you already were perhaps struggling with depression or struggling with something else, workers' comp would say, yeah, we'll continue paying, we'll pay for what has happened with the accident. We're not necessarily taking care of what was happening before, because that's got nothing to do with the injury. And I think that's one of the frustrating pieces for me, because I always look at it as I'm dealing with one person, and that person is struggling, navigating life with, migraine headaches, whether they were there before the accident, but they're more compounded now because of the work injury. So we
Right.
can't ignore them and just deal with, well, they have a broken, finger. So we focus only on the finger, because a person is one full human being, and you can't divide them into pieces, at least in my head, you can't. So it's not bad. I'm trying to be very careful about what I say, because I don't know how far this thing is gonna go and who's going to hear me talking. So I need to be careful. So it's
And we understand that.
there.
Mhm. Okay. I just wondered if the system, what the healthcare system covered in Canada, because we hear a lot about the Canadian system here in the
Mhm.
United States.
It's definitely, like, what I've heard is it's definitely much better than where you ladies are, like the States. So I wouldn't complain, because, like I said, if I needed to go to the hospital, I would go to the hospital. Yes, I might call an ambulance and have to pay out of pocket for, the ambulance ride, but there's certain things that I know I'm definitely guaranteed I can get looked after. But like everywhere else, a lot of things look good on paper. It's when you start,
It's in practice where
yeah,
it's murky,
yeah.
there's some uncertainty there. So, Rhonda, did you have any questions? Because I was going to ask her about her book for the final.
No, I was actually going to go back to the book as well.
Okay.
So I know we talked a bit about the book, and you said it's it's a workbook, and it provides a lot of tools. I'm wondering how you plan to build your platform. How have you gone out? Have you been doing speaking engagements with it? Are you going to visit with schools or programs? What are you doing to get your book out there?
Oh my goodness. So Dr. Royston was kind enough to actually get me published, and I got 4 books published at the same time. So it wasn't just the one. And I tend to shy away and hide away a little bit. So I'm not really good at this. And what we're doing right
You're
now.
doing great.
I know you're saying you're not good at this, but you communicate this so well that I can tell that you're intimately involved and you understand the plight of the people that you work with. So I believe that just some practice, just speaking and just building up your confidence, you'd probably do very well in this.
Mhm.
Thank you. Social media scares me so much. Um,
Well,
Mhm.
I'll
so
tell you what you should do. Start forcing yourself to go live, even if it's only for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Because if you're going live on your personal page, then you're going live with people who are your friends and family, people who love you. So build up your confidence with people who care about you, because they're not going to be mean to you. They're not going to hang up on you. They're not going to say boo and all that. So you get to talk about those subjects that mean the most to you. Maybe only do it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then when you start to feel more comfortable, move it to 3 to 5 minutes, and then go on a little bit more. Don't go past about 10, 15 minutes. They don't want to hear us that long. But but I mean, you do that, it'll build up your confidence, and then pretty soon you'll be more confident to go out there and do speaking engagements, in the public arena. And you have the perfect book that people need to hear. You have the perfect subject matter that people need to hear. So that's just my 2 cents, but I think you should go for it.
Well,
Thank you.
also, I'll add my 2 cents, and that is that what you really come across, what really is conveyed, is your sincerity.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's people can see that. And when you said living your life authentically, that's part of it. People can see that you are authentically sincere. So people respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate Dr. Royston so much. So I have I had a book signing with Indigo um, sometime last year, and that was almost like quite an experience too. Because if I had had it my way, I probably would have been very quiet and just sit in a corner, at a desk and not told anybody about it. But I have quite strong women behind me who were like, nope, this is not what we're doing. This is how we're doing this. And it was such an amazing turnout and an amazing event. So I am looking for ways that I could get the books out there a little bit more, because they really they came out of a need that I saw. I actually had someone who purchased the books um, at the book signing text me today with one of the pages open of this Living My Life Authentically. And he said to me, Dayirai, I just wanted you to know that I use your book every single day to help me start my day. And I was like, okay, all right. There are people out there that are actually finding the book helpful, and that's all I can ever ask for, because it's as practical. We all need life skills, and our children more than us, but whatever we can do to help them out, and then they can help the next generation, and it trickles down from there.
See, I see how it just talk about trickle. See how the words just trickle out of your mouth. You know what you're saying. You have some great knowledge behind it. You have skills. So use that. And I hope that you use this book to continue to build your platform. Because there are some people who need to hear your words.
So show us the copy of the book again. And do you have any of the other books that you said that Dr. Royston helped you release? Living
Yes,
My Life
living
Authentically.
authentically.
Okay. And what's the subhead on that? And interactive self-care and well-being workbook. Okay. All right. So that's that one. And then you have another one called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. Okay. That's interesting. Now, I have a book called You're Wonderfully Made. And it's a book my
Really?
daughter and I wrote for teen girls.
Oh, wow. I would
Yeah.
love to read it.
Yeah. It's 12 life-changing principles that for teen girls to embrace. That's what that was about. So that's from the scripture. I know. It's
Yes.
so what did you put in your book about being fearfully and wonderfully made?
So this, I have my goddaughter. She is in England, and for her 8th birthday, excuse me, her mom shared with me how she had been struggling in school, just being different, her hair being different, skin color being different, and the other little kids coming and, really highlighting that. So I felt within my soul that I needed her to know and to just understand how beautiful she is and how worthy she is, just by virtue of her just being. So that's where the scripture came. I wrote this initially as a nice little birthday gift for her, just to remind her that she is fearfully and wonderfully made. I've got Psalm 139, verse 14. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Don't forget to wear your smile today. And then it's more like a little workbook
That's
today.
It's
so
like
nice.
affirmations.
Yes, I
Yes,
love the
yes,
colors.
Hmm.
yes. So that's where that one was born from.
Well, so we were thinking along the same lines when we did our titles. But it's
Yeah.
something for girls who are tweens. You know, I tell people the book works for tweens, definitely teens. And I've had a lot of groups, youth groups, use the book for youth conferences, and a lot of parents and grandparents buy the book for their teen daughters and granddaughters because it has practical things in it. Yours sounds more like yours maybe for younger girls.
Yes, so it was more the younger ones, you're talking about the 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, or
Yeah.
and more.
They need encouragement and reinforcement and love at all of those ages because society doesn't give Black girls the same kind of
Right.
positive feedback.
Yeah, not for men or women.
No, not
No.
right. Not for men.
Sometimes we as Black women are tougher on our Black girls than anybody else is.
Oh my goodness, it's not even sometimes.
Mhm.
It's something that we need to take a step back and really look at, because not only on our little girls, we're harder on each other, even as women, as adults, as women sometimes, and I don't know what that is, where that is rooted in, but yeah, I do agree, and we also tend to forget our boys in the process when we're talking about our little girls, but
Yeah.
our boys also need to be
Yeah,
nurtured and brought up. Like there's a lot of healing that needs to happen.
it is.
I
It is.
absolutely agree. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the top of the hour. So we have to end here, but if you can remind everybody how they can reach you and how they can find your book.
Okay, so Living My Life Authentically by Dayirai Kapfunde. You can find these on Amazon, Indigo, or even my website, Journeys of Life Counseling Services Inc. And that's counseling with 2 L's.
Okay.
And I am in Edmonton, Canada. And it was really an honor meeting you both and sharing this space with you. Thank you so much.
But thank you for being here. You have a wonderful evening and God bless you on your journey.
You too. Bye.